Greetings, dear subscribers and casual listeners of my channel. Have you ever thought about what made Bellatrix Lestrange so insanely devoted and terrifying? What if her madness had a logical explanation rooted in deep psychological wounds? In today's video, you will find out the shocking truth behind her descent into darkness. The world of Harry Potter is filled with unforgettable characters. Some are noble heroes, others complex and layered, and then there are those who leave a lasting impression as villains. Bellatrix Lestrange was not just another Death Eater, she was Voldemort's most fanatical follower, a witch whose very presence radiated chaos. Played brilliantly by Helena Bonham Carter in the films, Bellatrix was more than just a servant of the Dark Lord. She was a force of destruction, a zealot who sometimes even outmatched Voldemort himself in her ruthlessness. But why was she like that? What made her so erratic, so violent, so completely unhinged? Let's dive into her past and uncover the truth. Born into the prestigious House of Black, Bellatrix was raised with a deep sense of superiority. Her family saw themselves as pure-blood aristocracy, looking down on Muggleborns and even other wizards who didn't share their beliefs. From childhood, she was taught that power and bloodline mattered above all else. At Hogwarts, she was sorted into Slytherin, where she mingled with future Death Eaters like Lucius Malfoy. But while others hesitated, Bellatrix embraced Voldemort's ideology without question. She didn't just follow him, she worshipped him. Her loyalty knew no limits. She tortured Neville Longbottom's parents into insanity, never betrayed Voldemort even in Azkaban, and returned to his side the moment she escaped. Until her final breath in the Battle of Hogwarts, she remained his most dangerous enforcer. But what truly made her this way? Some believe it was Azkaban. Years spent in the wizarding prison surrounded by Dementors could have shattered what little sanity she had left. The constant exposure to despair and darkness might have turned her into something even more monstrous than before. Others point to unrequited love. Yes, Bellatrix was obsessed with Voldemort, not just as a leader, but as a man. While she was married to another Death Eater, it was Voldemort she truly loved. But he was incapable of love, and her desperate need to prove herself to him only drove her deeper into madness. She committed atrocities, hoping to earn his approval, but all she ever received was cold indifference. There's even a controversial theory that Bellatrix bore Voldemort's child, Delphi, as introduced in The Cursed Child. But whether or not that's canon remains up for debate. One thing is certain, Bellatrix Lestrange was not just a villain. She was a tragic figure consumed by devotion, madness, and a desperate need for validation. And that perhaps is what makes her one of the most chilling characters in the Harry Potter universe. Bellatrix Lestrange was not always the wild-eyed, cackling fanatic we saw in the movies. There was a time when she was simply a young witch, ambitious and full of potential. But somewhere along the way, something inside her twisted beyond recognition. Was it inevitable? Or was there a moment, a single choice that sealed her fate? Many believe that her descent began in Hogwarts. Being sorted into Slytherin was no surprise. Her entire family had been placed there for generations. Slytherin was where ambition, cunning, and blood purity were valued above all else. But while others saw it as a stepping stone to success, Bellatrix saw something greater: power, dominance, control. She excelled in dark magic, mastering spells that most students would never even dare to utter. While others practiced defensive charms, she was perfecting the Cruciatus Curse. By the time she left school, she was already drawn into Voldemort's ideology. But for Bellatrix, it wasn't just about belief. It was about belonging. Voldemort wasn't just her leader, he was everything. She spoke his name with reverence, devoted herself to his cause without hesitation. Others followed him out of fear or personal gain. She followed him out of love. That love, however, was one-sided. Voldemort, as we know, was incapable of forming genuine human connections. He didn't love, he didn't feel. And yet Bellatrix never wavered. She was his most trusted soldier, his most ruthless executioner. When he ordered her to torture the Longbottoms, she didn't hesitate. When he disappeared, she never renounced him, even as other Death Eaters scrambled to save themselves. Then came Azkaban. The prison was meant to break people. The Dementors drained happiness, fed on the souls of those trapped inside. Most prisoners deteriorated within weeks. Some lost their minds entirely. Bellatrix endured it for 14 years, and when she escaped, she was no longer the woman who had once walked into that courtroom, laughing in the face of her captors. She was something else. Something worse. She spoke of Voldemort with an almost religious fervor, her devotion stronger than ever. The world had moved on. The Dark Lord had been forgotten by many, reduced to a cautionary tale. But Bellatrix refused to let go. In her mind, he was invincible, eternal. She clung to that belief like a lifeline. Without it, she had nothing. Her violence escalated. She took pleasure in cruelty, not just for strategy or efficiency, but for the sheer thrill of it. Others killed out of necessity. She killed for sport. She mocked her victims, taunted them, relished in their pain. She was unpredictable, chaotic, a living storm of destruction. Even among the Death Eaters, there were whispers. Was she truly loyal, or was she simply out of control? And yet, despite everything, Voldemort never gave her the affection she craved. He acknowledged her skill, used her as a weapon, but that was all. It was never enough. She fought for him, bled for him, would have died for him without a second thought. But he remained distant, untouchable. Did she realize it? Did she ever question if he even cared? Or was she too far gone to see the truth? Perhaps that was why she fought so desperately in the Battle of Hogwarts. She had lost everything. Voldemort's forces were dwindling, the war slipping through their fingers. And yet she refused to accept defeat. She pushed forward, relentless, determined to prove herself one last time. Then she met Molly Weasley. Bellatrix had faced countless enemies before. Aurors, members of the Order, some of the most skilled witches and wizards of their time. But in the end, it wasn't a powerful warlock or an elite fighter who brought her down. It was a mother, a woman, fueled by something Bellatrix had never truly understood: love. Real love, unconditional, selfless, powerful beyond measure. Did she realize it in those last moments? Did she understand, even for a second, that she had spent her entire life chasing something that could never be hers? And then she was gone. But Bellatrix Lestrange is not easily forgotten. She remains one of the most infamous figures in wizarding history, a name that still sends shivers down the spine of those who remember her. She was